Hey guys, this is Cody, and I'm back to do another Christmas horror movie review. Only this one, I'm actually going to be talking about two movies in this review. And as you guys saw, I did a review for Silent Night, Deadly Night, which I'm sure everyone can agree is a true classic horror film. Well, the two movies I'm going to be talking about in this review are nowhere close to being classics. Both of these movies are very low budget, they're independent, they're goofy, they're funny, they're stupid. They're the exact opposite of a classic movie. But the two films I'm going to be reviewing are Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2: The Revenge of the Mutant Killer Snowman. And like I said, these movies are both independent. They're low budget. They're just over the top. They're over the top crazy movies. The first one is a lot more serious than the second one. The first one, you can kind of tell they kind of made it. They kind of wanted to make it sort of a serious movie, but at the same time it had comedy elements in it that just made it a horror comedy. And the second one does not take itself seriously at all. It's a straight up kind of stupid, dumb, comedy. I actually found out about these two movies because at my local movie store, we used to have a local movie store here in my town. I actually rented a copy of Jack Frost 2. And the reason why I rented it was because I thought that Jack Frost 2 was a sequel to the family film starring Michael Keaton. And when I rented the second one, I was wondering, why would they make a sequel to the Michael Keaton movie, and why would they make it a horror movie, I thought it didn't really make sense. Then I found out there was another movie called Jack Frost that was actually made before the Michael Keaton film, and then I understood why, there was a Jack Frost 2 and if it was a horror movie. But the first movie, like I said, it's more serious than the second one, and it follows a serial killer named Jack Frost, and who has murdered 38 different people. And in the opening scene, he's actually being transported in a truck with three officers, and he's being transported for his execution. And it's a snowy night. It's a couple weeks before Christmas, and they're driving along down this road. Snow's coming down and everything, and it's hard for the two drivers to see. The truck actually ends up getting in a crash with another truck that is filled with this generic acid. And after this happens, the only officer that survives the truck crash, Jack Frost actually kills one of the officers that's in the truck with him by breaking his neck. And when the officer gets out, he finds out that Jack Frost has escaped because of the crash. And while Jack Frost is standing there, the truck that has generic acid is being heated up by fire from the crash, and the door to the area that has all the acid in it breaks open, and the acid just comes flying out and ends up covering Jack Frost, and he ends up getting dissolved into the snow. And when that happens, he becomes a mutant. He becomes a snowman, basically, and he comes back. And then in the next scene, he travels to the town that the sheriff that actually caught him is living with his family. The sheriff's name is Sam Taylor, and he has a wife, and he has a son who's about 9 or 10 years old. And I think the town's called Snowton, something like that. I'm not quite sure, but it's kind of a small town. Everybody knows each other. Everybody is friends with one another. And they do fun things around Christmas. Like at the beginning of the movie, they're having a snowman building contest and stuff. And there's different people. There's the guy that owns the hardware store and everything. There's also Shannon Elizabeth is also in this movie. This movie came out in '96, so this was before she was, before her American Pie fame. And everybody just knows each other, and everybody's friends with one another. The sheriff's office receptionist is kind of a sort of a chatty woman. She's I don't really know how to describe her. She's very, very chatty, but you can tell that she really just doesn't want to work there. sheriff's office, but everybody pretty much knows each other in the town, and everybody's friends with each other. And basically, Jack Frost comes to the town to take revenge on Sam, and that's when he begins killing spree. That's as far as I go with the story. Now I'll talk a bit about this movie. Like I said, it's kind of a, you can tell it was meant to be more of a straightforward movie, but at the same time, there's some scenes in it that just really makes you, laugh, and they're kind of just dumb horror scenes. But for the most part, it's a pretty solid film. The acting in it is very, very well done, I think. For the low budget that the film had, you can tell that everybody did a great job in the acting. And even Sam's son, who's like 9 or 10, I think his name is Ryan. And yeah, so as far as an independent, low budget movie, it's a pretty solid horror film. And I think it's one that, if it wasn't so expensive online, I'm sure more people would probably have seen it by now, and I think a lot of people would appreciate it. Because it's a pretty decent horror independent film. Now the second one is very, very over the top, and some scenes are kind of stupid. In the second one, Sam and his wife, they're going to the Bahamas, and just to get away from everything, to get away from memories of Jack Frost. And you can kind of tell that the Bahamas, everything is built on a set, so even the entire island looks kind of fake. And there's so many different sort of dumb characters in this one. Like, there's this one character, of course the island's got a place where everybody goes to. There's a hotel, there's a bar, and there's different people that are there that have been working there, like the bartender's Jamaican. There's an older man who is called the General, who's like the manager of the entire thing, and he talks about being back in India, and doing what he had to do there to, I guess, to stay alive or whatever. I'm not quite sure. He's just kind of a funny character. The most over the top character in the movie is this guy named Captain Fun, who is basically head of island security. Not security, head of island entertainment is what I meant to say. And he's a really goofy character. His shirt says Captain Fun on it. He even has, like, when he introduces himself to Sam, he goes, "Looks like we got a party pooper. This seems like a job for Captain Fun." None. And he's just a really annoying character. But yeah, the second one is really over the top. Jack Frost, he of course follows Sam and his wife to the island. At one point in the movie, he actually reproduces with these small little snowballs, and they come to life. They have eyes and teeth, and they're basically his babies, and they just go around and just killing the people on this island, and it's really over the top. One thing about the second one that I think is the highlight of the whole movie is that there's so much gore in this. Every death scene is non-stop gore. I remember when I first got the VHS, so when I rented it, there was no gore in it at all. And then when I saw it on DVD, there was all this extra gore. So I don't know if the DVD is like an uncut version and the VHS is maybe the R-rated version of it. I'm not quite sure, but that's just, just how it happened, because there's a lot of good gory death scenes in the second one. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the first one is pretty expensive, but if you could probably find it in maybe like a second-hand store for maybe $10, I'd say, is or lower than that. I really don't know how much it goes for in second-hand shops. But if you can find the first one, I definitely recommend checking it out, because like I said, I think it's a pretty solid movie. You care about the characters a lot. You believe the characters because they're acting very, very well done. And there's really no funny scenes in the first one that much. There's like maybe a couple scenes that are just kind of like, oh, that's all right, But mostly it's a straightforward horror film, as opposed to the second one, which is just over the top, stupid, dumb, funny scenes. But it's entertaining, I guess. The second one's pretty entertaining. But the price, like I said, the prices on them are kind of crazy. The first one is online for like $100 on DVD, and the second one is only $5. I don't know how that works, but apparently, I guess the first one is the only one. The first one is, I guess, the only one that is worth anything for people to want to see it, because The first one is going for crazy amounts of money, and the second one is like a guilty pleasure, you know. But if you do find the second one for you know, the $5 price, I've also seen it in one of those 10 movie packs from Mill Creek Entertainment. If you see the second one and if you don't like it because it's so dumb, don't let it like discourage you from seeing the first one, because the first one is very, very different from the second one. You know, there's really not that many overly funny scenes in the second one. It's more of a straightforward film. But yeah, if you can find these movies for a good price, I would definitely recommend checking out the first one. And if you know, if you just want to find a movie to, you know, pass the time, check out the second one. I would recommend the first one a lot more, though. I'd recommend it's the one that I'd say is more worth seeing, but it's not worth $100. No, if you can find it for $10, $15, I'd say that's probably the best price you'll probably get it for it in like secondhand stores. And the second one is just if you just want to kill time, you know. But yeah, like I said, that's my review for both Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2. If you've seen both these movies, definitely let me know what you think about them, because I know that they're kind of overlooked, I must say. I really don't hear a lot of people talk about either one of these movies, even in like independent, you know, or low budget, you know, film people that talk about them. I really don't hear either of these movies, you know, being talked about, and I think that they're kind of underrated. I mean, they're kind of overlooked. Well, the first one is kind of an overlooked gem, sort of in the low budget independent thing, and the second one is just one of those, oh, you can pass on the second one, but the second one's got a lot of great gore in it, and if you just want to turn your brain off and see something dumb, I'd recommend the second one. But anyway, guys, I've rambled enough. If you've seen both these movies, definitely let me know what you guys think about them. Thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, if you can find them both for a good price, I mean like way low price, then I'd say check them out. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.